We're still on our live coverage of the state funeral of the former president Muhammadu Buhari. And of course, the president Bola Ahmed Tinubu is leading the nation as we pay our last respect to the former president of Nigeria. Let's speak with the Pro-Chancellor and Chairman Governing Council, Federal University of Transportation, Daura, Katsina State, Wahab, Owokoniran. It's good to have you join us at this time. It's a solemn moment in Nigeria. The University of Transportation, one of the institutions established by the former president. Talk to us about your own, one-on-one relationship with Buhari, not just as an indigene, but as someone who spent the later part of his life in Katsina.
Well, I got to know President Buhari way back in the 80s when I was working under the Ministry of Finance. And I've always found him to be a very sincere man, a very honest man, a man of integrity that loves to be among his people. And you could see some of what he has been able to accomplish among his people. One of it is the establishment of the university. I'm currently the Pro-Chancellor and the Chairman of the Governing Council. He brought the Air Force Base to Daura. And you can always see how the people have been feeling since they announced his death since yesterday. He was a man that Nigeria is going to miss greatly. He has a lot of sense of humor. He's a very humane man. He's full of humility. And if you come around his environment, you could see the humility in the man. You could see that he's not the man that believes in a materialistic thing. He's devoted his people, he devoted his time to his people, and most importantly to his religion. He was a very devoted Muslim, and you cannot take that away from him. And as I've said, one of his accomplishments is the University of Transportation. The university is still very young, and in his honor, we are promising to take the university to a greater height, to make it a university of international repute, where people from different parts of Africa will be coming over to study. And I also want to see this opportunity to appeal to Mr. President that we should try and make sure that we name the university after him. He was a good man, and Nigeria will be greatly missed.
All right. A University of Transportation is a specialized institution, one of a kind. Talk to us about the need that this university is meeting in the community and the society, such that it is being credited to the former president.
I didn't get your question. Repeat that question, please.
Yeah, I'm talking about the fact that this is a specialized institution, talking about University of Transportation. So I'm talking about the impact on the society. There must have been a need that the former president saw that made him push for the establishment of this institution, especially in Daura, Katsina State. So talk to us about that.
He discovered that transportation system in Nigeria is not well organized, especially the rail system. We are just rehabilitating and rebuilding our rail system in Nigeria. And when you are doing so, you need to start training people who will be able to man all these gauges, who will be able to repair most of these engines and the coaches. And that's the primary reason why that university was established. And not only that, we're also to oversee the training of the aviation staff and also the shipping industry too, both sea, air, and land. That is what the Transportation University was established, to train manpower who will eventually train people in different parts of Africa. As a matter of fact, we are beginning to have so many requests from different parts of Africa that they want to start sending their people to come and study in our university. But, we are still growing. This university is about 2-3 years old. And we're hoping that with time, we'll be able to achieve the kind of excellence, where our mission or our vision that we envisage.
From the pictures we're seeing live in Dara today, it shows that the former president, Muhammadu Buhari, was really loved by his people. And this University of Transportation, one will say, was a way of, giving back to this community. Talk to us about how the university is mourning him, not just today, but beyond in terms of keeping his legacy.
You say, talk to you about how, repeat.
Right, I'm saying you should talk to us about how the university is mourning him, not just today, but in terms of keeping his legacy and what he stood for.
I have just said it. We are planning, we are appealing to Mr. President to make sure that they rename the university after him. And as I've said, all those people we are trying to train, we want to make sure that we make them a student of excellence. And by the time they come out of that university, people can always say that, are you a product of that university that was established during the period of President Muhammadu Buhari? And as I've said, many people are beginning to apply into that university. And as the year progresses, we have been increasing in number, and we hope to maintain that level and standard. And hopefully, by the time you come back to that university in the next 1 year, you could have seen a lot of changes in honor and legacy of President Muhammadu Buhari.
All right, so it's pleasant to have heard you mention your desire for the university to be named after the former president, Muhammadu Buhari. But that might require, taking it a notch higher. So are you considering and open to liaising with perhaps representatives of that community in the National Assembly who could probably present this as a bill before the National Assembly to get the attention of Mr. President to have this done in honor of the former president?
As a matter of fact, there is a bill already in existence in the National Assembly. I think he has gone through the first reading and is going through the second reading. And all I'm just doing now is to appeal to the member of the National Assembly and to Mr. President to please help enough to fasten the process so that the process could be quickly completed and the president and the university will be named after him. The process is already on.
Right. Beyond just being, someone who was loved by his people, how would you assess his leadership, not just in, Dara or an indigene of that state? How would you assess his leadership, structure and administrative policies in unifying Nigeria as a president, not just from the northern part of Nigeria, but as someone who, stood for policies that were based on anti-corruption and also war against indiscipline?
Well, if you look at President Buhari's background, right from the time he took over the reign of power in December 1983, the first thing he did was to make sure that he brought all the Nigerians together, introduced war against indiscipline. He tried to instill discipline into Nigerians. And during this period, you could see that Nigerians became more organized and people began to see themselves more as Nigerians rather than sectionalizing themselves as Yoruba, Igbo, and what have you. He has always been a nationalist. And during the war, you could remember that he was one of our gallant officers that fought during the Biafran War. And he's one of the people that almost put their lives on the line for Nigeria. He has always been a nationalist, and when he was even the president in this last tenure, he did very well, implemented so many policies that brought Nigeria together. One of the major achievements of Mr. President was the area of infrastructure. The second Niger Bridge, he was able to build, despite the fact that most people in the East, they didn't vote for him. He still went ahead and completed the second Niger Bridge in the East. And many other projects he did across the country. He showed that the man was a nationalist, he was a true Nigerian to the core, and he's somebody that Nigerians as a whole need to learn from. As a matter of fact, he did his best, although he might have his weaknesses and shortcomings that a lot of people might be talking about, but within his capacity, he tried his best. And Nigeria will greatly remember him for his accomplishment.
All right, we have some live pictures coming from, is that the airport now? We can see Governor Dapo Abiodun flanked by a number of people there. That is the airport in Katsina State, where dignitaries are gathered.
We also have the Ogun State Governor Dapo Abiodun, and of course, I think we're also seeing the Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu there, all ready and set to, pay their last respect. We also see the Governor of Kwara State, that is Abdurrahman Abdulrazak, also all waiting just to pay their last respect.
And we see the military men who are on ground for that salute, for that guard of honor, to welcome the former president, even as the nation at large mourn him. His body should arrive from the UK. All right, any moment now, and shortly we will get to see President Bola Tinubu, who is leading the nation of Nigeria in this state funeral in paying respect to former President Muhammadu Buhari. And earlier we were speaking with the Pro-Chancellor and Chairman Governing Council of the Federal University of Transportation, Daura, Katsina State, Wahab Owokoniran. Yes, we understand that President Bola Tinubu, as a mark of honor, a mark of respect, and has mentioned that he would personally be receiving the body of former President Muhammadu